It's the 10 crack commandments. Wow. Man can't tell me nothing about this coke. Can't tell me nothing about this crack, this weed for my hustling niggas. Niggas on the corner, I ain't forget you niggas. My triple B niggas. 10. I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. It's rules to this shit. I wrote me a manual, a step-by-step booklet for you to get your game on track. Not your wig pushed back. Rule number uno. Never let no one know how much dough you hold. Cause you know that try to breed jealousy, especially if that man fucked up. Get your ass stuck up. Number 2, never let them know your next move. Don't you know bad boys move in silence and violence? Take it from your highness. I done squeeze mad clips at these cats for they bricks and chips. Number 3, never trust nobody. Your mama set that ass up, properly gassed up. Hoodie the masked up. For that fast buck, she be laying in the bushes to light that ass up. Number 4, know you heard this before. Never get high on your own supply. Number 5, never sell no crack where you rest at. I don't care if they want an ounce, tell them bounce. Number 6, that goddamn credit, get it. You think a crackhead paying you back, shit, forget it. 7, this rule is so underrated. Keep your family and business completely separated. Money and blood don't mix like two dicks and no bitch. Find yourself in serious shit. Number 8, never keep no weight on you. Them cats that squeeze your guns can hold jumps too. Number 9 should have been number 1 to me. If you ain't getting back, stay the fuck from police. If niggas think you're snitching, they ain't trying to listen. They be sitting in your kitchen, waiting to start hitting. Number 10, a strong word called consignment. Strictly for live men, not for freshmen. If you ain't got the clientele, say hell no. Cause they gon' want their money, rain, sleet, hell, snow. Follow these rules, you'll have mad bread to break up. If not, 24 years on the wake up. Slug hit your temple, watch your frame shake up. Caretaker did your makeup. When you pass, your girl fucked my man Jacob. Heard in 3 weeks she sniffed the whole half a cake up. Heard she suck a good dick and could hook a steak up. Gotta go, more pies to bake up. Word up, Crack King, Frank Wizard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm back on YouTube. What's good, everybody? Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, the Grandmaster Troll. Give you the best trolling content YouTube has to offer. Shout out to the Reject Army, the Nif-Nas dishwashers, the defectors, and the people who have left the Black Order, but most importantly, witness the might and the power of the Grandmaster Troll. I haven't done a stream in a while. No, it's basketball season at the very start of it. Been very busy, but I got enough time to do this stream because over the past weekend, there was a little beef in the black sector of YouTube between Cynthia G and one Manwan Leonard Dudley, aka the Angry Man. So the title of this one is Cynthia G was right. The Angry Man's drug charge is why he is a dusty beta male coon. We got the hooded one. We got the information man in the chat room. We're going to give you guys some good content, some good life lessons because, you know, somebody had did a stream recently. But before I get into that, I gotta go back because you know I'm always predicting the future. You know when I had doxed the Angry Man, you know people was mad because you know I doxed him, I put out his information and all this other stuff. Well, as we can see behind, if you go to number 6, you know somebody was convicted for a marijuana charge, and you know sometimes people break laws. Unfortunately, they get caught up. They make bad decisions. Well, you know. And then recently, the Angry Man, he tried to break down why he got that marijuana charge and why black women should have empathy for him in this particular situation. So what we're gonna do now, well, I'm gonna let the Angry Man, he's gonna break down, the struggles he had to go through with him and his marijuana charge and the whole nine and all the bit. And it's really sad because we got a lot of brothers out there, they make dumb decisions and then they expect people to have empathy, they expect people to have sympathy for them, and we're gonna break all of it down. So hold on, we got Hooded One in the chat room. He said, "Who don't got a weed charge?" Well, that's the thing about it. There's a lot of people that got weed charges. When you're supposed to be a Pookie and a Ray Ray, you're supposed to be a street brother. You're supposed to be about, just like the Angry Man said. He said he was moving weight. He said he was a cocaine cowboy. And if you claim to be all that, how the hell you get popped for having a half ounce of weed? So with that said, we're going to break it down. I'm going to teach you guys a life lesson, and maybe it will alleviate some of the struggles you brothers are going through with black women in particular. So with that said,
There was a time in my life, some years back, right before I was going to start a YouTube channel. I think this was 2011, something like that. I went through a very rough patch. And I'm going to show you what I mean by empathy. I went through a very rough patch. I lost my corporate job due to a sexist environment. I worked in a office that was filled with nothing but women. And I was the only guy working there. And they ended up letting me go on some trumped up bullshit. I've told you guys that story before. So I lost my job. I had difficulty finding another one. The reason why I had difficulty finding another one, when I got that job, I almost didn't get that job. The reason why I was having difficulty getting a job is because I had a misdemeanor weed charge.
let's go ahead and stop it right there, because when you go out and you commit these crimes, whether it be major crimes, petty crimes, one of the consequences that people got to understand when you commit these crimes and you come out, especially if you're a black man, it's going to be hard to get gainful employment. So before you do whatever dirt you about to do, you really got to think about the consequences of your actions. But the Angry Man, he's getting ready to explain this half ounce weed drug charge that he got, and we gonna have fun with this one. So with that said, let me go ahead and play the video.
Demeanor. I was driving with some buddies going to a concert or whatever. I had a dime bag of weed in my pocket. There was a drunk thing where they pulled people over and they smelt some weed, and I handed the guy the weed. He wrote me a citation. I didn't even get arrested.
Hold on, did I just hear what I just heard? Did he just say he had some weed in his pocket? There was a traffic stop where they were searching for people driving under the influence. He just drove up to the drug stop and he handed the weed to the officer because they smelt the marijuana in his car. Is that how yo dumbass got popped for dibbling and dabbling in marijuana? You supposed to be the angry man. You say you got all this wisdom and knowledge and intellect. How in the hell do you drive to a traffic stop, a checkpoint, when you can see the checkpoint miles down the road? You can see the checkpoint blocks down the road. So if you driving in your car. You and your boys that you riding with that's going to this concert was hotboxing in said car. So said car smells like marijuana. You have marijuana in your pocket. How do you not have the smartness to just crack open the door and just toss the marijuana outside the car? But instead of doing that, what your dumbass do is you drive into the checkpoint. You don't even have the decency to tell your boys to get out the car, walk around this checkpoint. I'll give you the weed. Maybe you go back that way and we'll meet up with you later. No, what you do, what you just said, I'm going to replay it because I can't believe the stupidity that I was hearing in this video. So I'm going to rewind it a bit.
My job, I had difficulty finding another one. The reason why I had difficulty finding another one, when I got that job, I almost didn't get that job. The reason why I was having difficulty getting a job is because I had a misdemeanor weed charge. Misdemeanor. I was driving with some buddies going to a concert or whatever. I had a dime bag of weed in my pocket. There was a drunk thing where they pulled people over and they smelt some weed. And, I handed the guy the weed. He wrote me a citation. I didn't even get arrested. He wrote me a citation. I went to court, paid the fine. I pled guilty, paid the fine. And so it was on my record.
So that's how these brothers are getting popped for weed charge. They're literally hotboxing the car, knowing they smelling like marijuana, smelling like all kind of swishers and backwoods and cigarette smoke in the car. They got weed, pockets full of weed in their pocket. They see the traffic stop. They get in their car. They drive straight to the checkpoint. Just drive straight to it, roll down the window, knowing they was just hotboxing in the car, knowing the car smelling like weed. Cop comes up, your car smells like weed. Do you have weed? And he did the right thing. Instead of getting an attitude and doing all this stuff, he just handed the officer, the weed. The angry man is lucky that Officer Grandmaster Troll wasn't in the air, because if he would have rolled up to my checkpoint smelling like weed, let me tell you, Muppet Mouth Negroes, what Officer Grandmaster Troll would have done. He would have rolled down that one. You got weed? He would have handed me this weed. Is that all the weed that you got, Mr. Dudley? He would have said, yeah, that's all the weed I have. I would say, you know what? I don't believe your ass. I'm gonna get the search dogs. We're gonna search through this whole car, because now I got probable cause to search your car for drugs, drug paraphernalia, weapons, and other illegal stuff that I may think or assume that you might have. And then I would have arrested him. I would have impounded his car. See, his life would have got even more. Instead of not just having a job, being able to find a job because of this weed charge. Oh no, you would have to walk from place to place, because we would have impounded your car. We would have took your muppet butt to jail for just being so stupid to drive to a checkpoint with a pocket full of weed, car smelling like marijuana. That's what Negroes, and these Negroes swear that they street dudes. This is why I played Biggie Smalls' 10 Crack Commandments, because there's a lot of rules in this song that if you follow these simple rules he said. Let me read you. Let me see if I can find these rules that he said. He said, rule number 4, I know you heard this before. Never get high on your own supply. You see, these guys like the Angry Man, they say they moving all this weight. They sold crack cocaine, this drug, heroin, opioids. They did all this, moving all this weight. But they getting high on their own supply. And since he was high on his own supply, his car smelled like marijuana. I'm going to take it further. Let's see if I can pull it up some more. Rule number 5, never sell no crack where you rest at. I don't care if they want an ounce, tell them bounce. See, what Biggie Smalls was saying, he wasn't just saying not to sell it where you at, but not to have the product on you where you at, because you never know when the police is going to roll up on you. You never know where these checkpoints is going to jump up out of the blue and you got all this weight on you. You're going to have some problems, whether it be 10 keys, 1 keys, a pound, an ounce, or in this case, like man Juan Leonard Deli said, at half an ounce. Let me go down to rule number 8. Rule number 8, never, because it piggybacks off rule number 5, never keep no weight on you. And you got a half ounce of weed in your pocket ready. You prime target for these police. Now they could bring you into that criminal justice system. They could get into your pockets, make you broke because you got to pay all these fines. You got to do this and that. If you don't pay the fines on time, they hit you with all these ridiculous charges and fees. And they could really, really make your life difficult. All because you breaking the simple rules that your elder, Christopher Wallace, he told you in his rap. So he told you, if you're going to dabble in this game, this lifestyle, if you want to have drugs on you, selling drugs, this is how you move. And you do the opposite. You do the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. And now you want black women to have empathy for you. We're going to break down empathy real quick. Now, the basic definition that man Juan Leonard Dudley, aka the Angry Man, was using was empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. I'm going to break down that definition even some more. I'm going to use good old Wikipedia. Empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. That is the capacity to place oneself in another's position. So that's the definition of empathy. So now the angry man wants some empathy from women like Cynthia G, women in his families, and others, because now he's got to live this difficult life with this petty marijuana half ounce drug charge. Now we got some people saying having a half ounce of weed is not worthy of a drug charge. You know what, Hooded One? You're exactly right. It's not worth a drug charge, but we gotta play by the rules that are given. And when we growing up, we seen guys, we seen all these kingpins, Nicky Barnes, Fat Cats, Mitchell out here in Oakland, and pick your favorite drug kingpin in your area in which you live in. You see it over and over and over again. These guys build up these $1 million drug empires. They live the good life. They making all this money. They getting all the women. But why does it always end up? They get popped. They get hit with the RICO. They lose the house, the cars, the money. Their homeboys turn, flip on them, snitch on them, sell them out, and now you looking at a quarter of the life for the drugs you was selling in the criminal enterprise you was running, and now you want some empathy when you knew the rules of the game before you even got in the game. And now you're gonna live this sad life. See, man Juan got lucky that he only had a half ounce of weed in his pocket. What would have happened if he had some keys in the trunk of the car and they had smelled the marijuana and they decided to search this car and found the 10 keys in the trunk?
Misdemeanor weed charge. There were so many places that would not give me a job because of that misdemeanor weed charge. So for all of you who are running around here saying, oh, well, you can still get a job if you're a felon. I couldn't even get a job with a misdemeanor. Okay? Now see, this is where people play with stats and statistics. They'll say, oh, well, there's X amount of companies that will hire people with felonies. But whether or not your ass actually get that job is a whole nother story. Okay? So when I lost that job, every job that I applied to, they kept denying me because of that misdemeanor charge. I looked into seeing if I could get it expunged, and I couldn't. Okay? So I kept going through it. I finally got so desperate for work, so desperate for a job, right? Because during the time that I was going through this, I had people that were not supporting me, people that were talking shit to me. And these people were women. All right? Women telling me I'm not trying hard enough. That I should just take any job that I can get. You feel me? But the thing was, nobody was hiring me. No one. Right? So there were a few guys that I knew that had jobs at the prison. Now, I didn't necessarily want to work at a prison for various reasons. One, I don't like the way the prison industrial complex is set up. And to be a correctional officer is almost like a Jewish person becoming a Nazi. It seems a little ridiculous. But I got so desperate that I applied for the job at the prison system, right? Got the job offer, and then went through the entire process, the physical, all of the shit you gotta go through, right? Appreciate you, Rodney. All of the shit that you gotta go through, I went through it. Then, after I went through all of that shit, so I ended up losing a lot of shit. I lost a vehicle, a lot of my bills didn't get paid, messed up my credit, all types of shit. I was in a relationship, and in that relationship, the relationship was really bad.
You see what happens when you start messing with the weed? See how difficult life gets? You can't get employed, you get a job offer, and then they dig into your background, they see what you got, and then they take such job offer away. Then when you think you're gonna get that paycheck on that Friday because of that job you about to get, but you can't get it because of some petty crimes that really shouldn't. Because I'll be honest, the petty drug charge, it shouldn't keep you from being gainfully employed. But we all know when you commit these petty crimes, especially as a black man, this is what you're going to live through. You know it, and the black women know it. So when somebody like Cynthia G calls you a thug, Well, now you gotta go through some shit. Now it's a problem. See, I try to tell brothers. I got somebody in the chat room by the name of the Hooded One. He says, this isn't right. You know what? It isn't fair. That's what Muppet Mouth Negroes like to say. This isn't fair. See, somebody told me fair is a land where they judge pigs. Pisses me off when a grown man is out there breaking the rules. They know they breaking the rules. They know the consequences of breaking those rules. And when they get hit with the consequences, now they want somebody to feel a certain way about them. But that's not how America works. Definition of empathy, I'm gonna pull it up one more time. See, this is why you Negroes like the Angry Man get no empathy. Because empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference. But if your frame of reference is jacked up, you're not gonna get no empathy. If your frame of reference is jacked up, Angry Man, these women that you want empathy, sympathy from, these women that you want to lead, these women that you want to corroborate with you, you're not going to get that because your frame of reference is jacked up. When you could go out, break the rules, get hit with the consequences of those rules. Now you want somebody to feel a certain way, but when these women break the rules, let me say it again. I know I'm gonna sound like a simp saying this. I know a lot of my audience is red pill, but when the women break the rules, you want them to be held accountable for them. But when you break the rules, now all of a sudden you want the empathy. How does that work? What's good for the goose ought to be good for the gander, right? Isn't that what you say, man Juan? This is what I say. I understand, you go out, you get a speeding ticket, they gonna hit your black ass with an $800 fine. And if somebody of their other race do it, they may be able to go in the courtroom, come up with all these cockamamie excuses on how they should be let off from said speeding ticket, and the judge empathizes with them and drops all the fines, and other people of other backgrounds and cultures aren't as penalized for breaking the rules as us black people. I understand all of that, but you know what? As black people, you know the rules. If you don't break the rules, you never get the fine. It's simple as that. You don't want the drug charge, don't have the half ounce of weed in your pocket and drive into a goddamn checkpoint. That's stupid. To have all them drugs on you, you drive straight to a checkpoint. And then when they hit you with the consequences of that stupid action you did, now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now all of a sudden I gotta play the sad music for you because you on YouTube crying about how women in your life don't have empathy for you. I agree with a lot what you said. However, man, you gotta hold yourself to that utmost highest of high standards. If you want to be the supreme gender, if you want to be treated as such, you gotta move differently out here in these streets. And too many times, y'all out here on this bullshit. If I'm keeping it real with you, you you've been under investigation. You got the feds, the DEA on you. You get in your nice car, trying to move that weight. They pull you over because they know you got the weight in your car. They know you got the weight in your car. They pull you over for some because you made some illegal lane change and you didn't even make that illegal lane change. Then they ask you, do you have any drugs, weapons in the car? And you in there sweating your ass off because you know you got weapons and drugs in the car. They say, you tell them, no, I ain't got nothing. The cops don't believe you because they got you under surveillance. They say, you know what, wait right there, sir. We gonna go ahead, we gonna bring the dogs. They call the dogs, they circle around your car. Even if you got that good protection where that dog can't even smell the drugs, no, they train the dog to just do the automatic hit. So the dog does his hit. That gives them permission to go in your car. They go in your car, they find the 5 keys that's in the trunk of your car. But if you would have never had the 5 keys in the trunk of your car, the cops would have never, they would have had to let you go. But you got the weight on you. And when you get popped, they hit you with the RICO laws, conspiracy stuff in that position. You would never have to ask for somebody else's mercy upon you. So with that said, I'm getting ready to close out. Gotta go to work. It's your boy, the Grandmaster Troll, giving you the best trolling content YouTube has to offer. Stay away from them drugs. Stop pushing that weight. And if you are going to push the weight, Christopher Wallace, may God rest his soul, he gave you a blueprint. He gave you 10 rules to follow. If you don't follow those 10 rules and you get popped, don't come on YouTube crying about how Cynthia G is on your ass, calling you a dusty beta male coon, a crybaby, an idiot. Because if you got popped with the weight on you and you knew the rules of the game, that makes you an idiot. That makes you. Hooded One says, I'm spitting dogma that I heard from someone else. I lived it. I made mistakes and I had to pay for them. You never see me come on here crying on YouTube about how other people ain't showing mercy or empathy on me. I'm gonna take accountable for my actions and whatever the consequences are, even if they severe, even if they throw the book on me, I knew the rules of the game. Gotta take the consequences. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. It's simple. And what that means is don't do the crime if you can't deal with the consequences. Because even when you do the time and you come back out, there's still gonna be more consequences you're gonna have to face for the stupid stuff that you did. And that's life. And we got too many brothers out here making all these excuses. Stop making excuses. You need